You know what it is, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
You know who it is, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Ode Maurice, Ode Maurice.
Maurice Ode, Maurice Ode.
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Ode and Maurice.
Welcome to another episode of the Black and Snerdy podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together and talk they shit. I am, of course, Maurice, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned nerds on this podcast. How are you doing?
Given the state of the world and all that's going on, I'm good.
Okay, that's a feels like an ill omen.
No, I mean, just, there's a lot going on personally, around the world.
Oh, boy. Let's mute that.
And it's just a lot to constantly do, but and live through. But we're here, we're alive, we are doing the thing, so nothing else but that.
Okay, that sounds understandable. As far as I am concerned, I'm doing all right. Can't complain. This week has been interesting. I'll put it that way. It's been a very interesting week indeed. Some revelations, some developments, and it's all good. Shall we start with a little Q&A with O&M?
Sure can.
We have no drops for this. You know what? Oh, also, this is episode 99.
99.
We have been doing 99 of these things, if you don't count the bonus episodes, which would mean that we've been in episode probably 140 something.
But I mean,
who knows?
99 of these proper podcast episodes, which I think is a very big feat.
Mm-hmm.
To do anything 100 times. It's been 2, now we're on 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is great. I'm very excited.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to preface this by saying you can't say all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pick one. And I will also preface by saying just because you pick one doesn't mean that the others are lesser.
Okay, what is this about your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just giving parameters. Because I know you, and I know how you answer questions. What deceased relative do you enjoy remembering?
Oh.
Yeah, see? That's why I gave parameters that you agreed to. So.
I'm just going to go with most recent.
Sure.
With my Auntie Meg.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was, I spent the majority of my life knowing her. And I have a lot more memories that I can tap into.
Sure.
Compared to my grandparents or some of the other aunts and uncles. So I want to say my Auntie Meg because, Baby Oku was just always the life of the party. Mm-hmm. She was definitely a glue that held her siblings together and the family together. And definitely someone I would like to emulate in my life. By, being the same thing of being a person that is, family is important, being a part of the family, and being, that aunt or family member who everyone is excited to be around and see because you could talk to them about whatever. She was funny and snarky and sassy, and she, growing up in the time she did and the place she did, she decided to make her own way, and didn't let anything stop her, not her being a woman or being, an immigrant or going through whatever she went through. She said, I'm here, I'm doing it, and I don't care about what anyone else has to say. And I think that has always really resonated with me because she was just a dope-ass woman who created the life that she wanted and created the family that she wanted and never let anyone's opinions stop her from who she was.
That's nice. And that's nice to hear. You know, shout out to you as well. R.I.P. You know, rest in power.
Yes.
If I'm answering this question, I would say my grandfather. Shout out to William Cornish, aka Pop. I always say that. Bye. I always say that he was my best friend. He was my first best friend. We would do everything together. I would go over to his house and we would hang out. We would go to the we would walk to the corner store. He would buy me donuts while he get his pack of Newports. You know, I actually did in 3rd grade, I did a science report about the dangers of secondhand smoke, and it convinced him to quit smoking around me. I knew that he was still smoking, but he stopped doing it around me and my cousins. So, you know, so shout out to him. I don't think he did it while we were on the premises.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, shout out to him. What's your question?
Oh, my question. Now, this is a different question. I pulled this out from a different question box called "How Well Do You Know Me?"
Okay, this could be potentially a challenge.
I think I started off with an easy one. Do I drink coffee or tea, and if so, how do I take it? This could be a little bit tricky.
It is tricky, but I will say you you would mainly drink tea with like honey and like, you know, like if it's a berry tea, like with honey in it. If it's coffee, there's like it's diluted as fuck with milk, and it's cold brew. It's iced, not cold brew, because I feel like I've never had cold brew, so I feel like cold brew and iced coffee are not the same. Otherwise,
they're
they'd be
basically the
called
same, except for cold brew is supposed to be stronger.
Okay, so I would say you take your coffee, iced coffee, with like cream and shit in there.
What type of cream?
Like whatever one that doesn't cause you diarrhea. I don't know. Like I don't know the specific. I don't think it's almond. I don't think it's almond cream.
No, it's not.
I don't. Is there any? There's other types of cream.
There's other type of milk. Yeah, I
know there's other types of milk, but like.
But I mean, generally, this is what
like
I will use.
It took me a long time as a kid to wrap my head around the idea that cream was different than milk.
Yeah, because it's thicker.
Yes, so
generally
I just assume cream.
If I'm using a cream, it's probably like International Delight, which is a dairy cream, but it has like they've taken out a lot of the lactose. But if in general, if I'm going out to get coffee, I will use oat milk.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're one of those. I told you about that one time when at my old job, fuck out of here with y'all. At my old job, I was they used to provide like milk and cereal and all that other good shit, and like one day the regular milk was out and I stumbled upon oat milk and like I poured it in my Frosted Flakes and it was the worst experience of my life.
I think that's because
oat milk is disgusting.
Oat milk is not disgusting, but you have to use the different milks for
terrible.
Different stuff.
It is
like soy
terrible.
Milk is good for cereal if you're just doing eating.
Lactate is the only, or you know, soy or lactate.
Soy is good for everything, right?
Sure.
Oat milk I prefer for coffee because it's creamy and it doesn't separate the way that almond milk does.
Thank you. Your mother tells me that it's disgusting and we're on the same
almond
page.
milk I don't like
appreciate
using
for
coffee because almond milk separates when you put it in hot beverages.
Sure.
But okay, now for you. You don't really drink coffee.
No, I don't.
Unless you have to. And then when you do drink it, you drink it black. And then if you drink tea, you generally drink green tea with no sugar or milk or anything. You just drink it straight.
Yes. Both my coffees and my teas are, I just drink them straight.
Which is so funny because you used to eat, you eat Kool-Aid powder. Sweet, you put so much sugar in Kool-Aid, but you put sugar in.
I don't want to start my day off with like a ton of sugar.
But you eat Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, that's not a ton of sugar. That's regulated sugar.
But you would put sugar.
And there's milk involved.
But you would put sugar.
It's not like I'm just eating the Frosted Flakes without the milk.
But
the milk is helping to not be super sweet.
Would put sugar in your Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, as a kid, I don't do that anymore as an adult. As an adult, I'm not putting sugar in the Frosted Flakes anymore.
Are you saying you would not do that?
Not in the morning.
Not in the morning, but you would do that another time of day. If you were eating a snack of cereal.
All right. I'll put it this way. Here's what it is. It's Saturday morning / late afternoon. I have the whole place to myself. The one thing I'm going to eat, Frosted Flakes. Maybe I'll put a little bit of sugar. Actually, you know what? No. Because, like, I prefer Frosted Flakes grounded up and then sprinkle it on the regular Frosted Flakes than just straight up sugar. Like, straight up sugar, I've kind of lost my
Why are you grinding up cereal to put on top of cereal?
Because have you not ever tasted the
I have
cereal dust at the end of the... We're not getting into this. We don't have time for this. We don't have any time for this. The cereal dust at the end of every bag of cereal is the best part of any cereal. So if you grind up some cereal and put them on top of your cereal, it enhances the flavor of the cereal. It just makes sense. And how many times do you want me to say cereal in one sentence? Cereal. That's the name of this episode. Cereal.
All right. Well, that is it for the questions. Are we ready to jump into the pop culture segment?
You know I am, girl. This must be. All right.
We might, you know what? Honestly, we might have to change that up. I don't want to. I'm not trying to get on.
One bad actor out of the 5.
I know. I don't know. I'm feeling a little anti-JT right now.
I don't even think that's Justin saying this must be pop. They're all saying pop, but isn't it
he might be
JC Chavez who says this must be?
Maybe. And you know what? JT has been really in his feelings ever since Britney's book came out. Mm-hmm. He's talking about like all these people in the music business and Hollywood or whatever are blackballing him and calling him out because they're mad about what Britney said. Well, bitch, you did it. You did it, okay? You did the shit, and now you're stinking.
I mean, look, like, no offense, but like, nobody wanted to get with you to like listen to another Cabin in the Woods fucking album anyway, you know? Like, you got all your money from all the blacks with your hair curled up
and your cornrows
and your pretty little eyes.
I have to find
you got with Pharrell and did like fucking Don't Walk Away, Cry Me a River, you know, and all that other stuff. You got with Pharrell again to do like
and with Timberland.
And then after you got all the money from the blacks, you fucking exposed Janet Jackson's titty and somehow got it to be her fault.
Well,
Some
he
patriarchal
did
bullshit.
the same thing with Britney. Both of them, with Britney and with Janet.
So look, you're just getting your comeuppance, and woe is you. This is my advice to JT. Literally, just say like,
"Cry me a river."
No, sure, but you know, all you can do at this point in your age is say like, look, I take accountability for everything that I did in my past, you know? Like, even if it's not who you are now, it is what you did then. And you have to just accept that is on your coat.
Yeah.
And then move forward accordingly.
And he's been doing a terrible job of that. Because when things came out...
Most white men tend to... do terrible jobs when it comes to bringing up shady shit from their past.
Because when people were talking about...
And most black men, too.
We're
which
bringing
we'll
out...
talk about later, but, you know.
People were bringing up... before... This was like last year or year before. People were talking about the whole Janet situation and the Britney situation. He was giving these very terrible apologies. So, Justin, as much as I loved you as a kid, fuck you. Okay.
Well, anyhow.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a quick little update. I guess not really update, but just a quick little factoid. Snoop Dogg, who most people know as Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion.
SNOOP.
The one thing that you might recognize
the doggy dizzle
about Snoop Dogg throughout his career is that he is a prolific rapper. He has long braids, long hair, and also that he be smoking.
Sorry, my bad.
He smokes. He smokes all the time.
Oh my god!
What is happening?
I'm trying to
mute your YouTube.
I'm trying to. It doesn't automatically
mute your computer.
There you go.
He has decided on an Instagram post that he put up this last week. After much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. Please respect my privacy at this time. And it was funny because it was on, like, it's a picture of him like this. It's a black and white. with his little signature at the end. So it seems like it is definitely like the somber moment. But I'm curious. I mean, it was fun. It looks funny, and I'm like, is he really giving it up? Are you giving up edibles? Because edibles are not smoke. Are you giving it up altogether? But also, he is an older man. And I think that, you have to, as you get older, recognize that you cannot do the same things in the same ways as you did when you were younger. And you have to be like, you know what? Maybe I cannot smoke as much. Maybe I cannot drink as much. Maybe I can't do all the myriad of drugs that I used to do as a young person, because your body is different. He's, 60 years old now? He has grandbabies.
It's crazy to me as somebody who grew up in the era where Snoop Dogg, I was a child and Snoop Dogg was like literally just starting out.
Yeah.
And like he's now 60
with
years
grandchildren.
old with whole grandchildren, right? And like, to me, I think it's a good move. Like I think you're a prolific rapper. You are an icon. He's literally an icon.
Yeah.
Literally, like,
he's friends with Martha Stewart.
Yeah, but like look, when you think of weed, you associate it with Bob Marley and Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
That's it. That's how prolific he is with weed. So I think it's just time to pass the duchy
to the left-hand
side.
He said in March, in an interview with the Daily Mail, being a grandfather has changed me in multiple ways. The main way is being concerned with how I live, how I move, the kind of people I'm associated with, because I want to see my grandkids grow old. Yeah. The only way I can do that is take precautionary steps as far as how I move, who I hang out with, where I go out, my intake, and what I'm intaking. Am I doing extracurricular, or am I just doing what I'm supposed to be doing? So, honestly, I do not think...
It's a good move.
I think that
shout out to you, Snoop Dogg.
Like, marijuana is medicinal in a lot of ways. But we also know that the way that marijuana is created now and the way that it's the hybrids and all these different strains, a lot of them are really not... It's not the same type of weed. There's so many Rastas who will not smoke the weed that you could find at these dispensaries because they're like, why are you fucking up this medicinal plant? So you think about, he's smoking the strongest strains possible, and probably it's not all that great for him. So shout out to you, Snoop. We don't know why, because we're respecting his privacy, but I'm sure it has to do with just like being healthy and being able to see his grandkids grow old. And I think that all the grandparents out there who are still young and vibrant and doing your thing, sometimes you gotta take one for the team, because your grandkids are looking at you. And they're going to be doing these different, they're going to be following in your lead. And if you have to take a step back from the way that you used to, be partying all the time before, go ahead and do it. Because Snoop, he's not the only one who's smoking weed and ganja and all that stuff and doing things. You can enjoy your life after, your kids are grown, you can live your life, do that. But also being mindful of how that's impacting you and your body and like, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm still curious of whether this is actually going to be something he is sticking with, or if it's possibly a business venture, because we know he has his hands in a lot of different pots. And maybe he's going to stop smoking, but he's not going to stop doing edibles, which could be better for his lung health of not intaking all of that. So congratulations, good for you, and we wish you the best of luck. And speaking of older, iconic hip-hop artists, Andre 3000 has come out with a new album.
Yes, and actually, I have a clip of it. Exclusive? No, it's not exclusive. It's just dropped on Friday, and here it is.
We got it now. It's all right. Little ham and eggs coming at you. Hold on, people. Hope you got your griddles.
So, for a little bit more context, Andre 3000 decided to drop an entirely instrumental album that has no bars.
It's like a new age jazz experimental album.
And it's
called New Blue Sun.
Yes.
I personally like it. It's incorporating solfeggio frequencies, flutes, singing bowls, various instruments. And to me, I'm like, first time I listened to this, I had smoked a little bit, and I took a shower, I turned the lights out, and I was just in there listening to the music and allowing it to wash over me. I personally found it to be great. I already like and enjoy solfeggio frequencies. I think, like, if you don't know, solfeggio frequencies are binaural beats, of which both they can be called, they are music that is usually instrumental, and it has the frequencies of music. And frequencies of music can impact your body because the sound frequencies, when you talk about low vibrations or high vibrational music, it's all connected. So when you're listening to music that's at a certain frequency, if it's a low vibrational music, can have different impact on your body. If it's high vibrational, different impact on your body. And so I have to find it. It's this one. I want to say it's 450 hertz that I was reading.
Andre 3000, the one of the greatest lyricists of all time, one of the greatest artists of all time, one of the greatest hip hop dudes, straight from Atlanta, made a fucking yoga Pilates album.
No, it is not a yoga Pilates album.
This is exactly the soundtrack that you would hear if you go to a yoga studio. Hell,
it's a meditative piece.
And what do they play at yoga studios?
It's at
They play instrumentals that are either... The yoga studios that I used to frequent when I was at yoga all the fucking time would play two things. They would play these humming binaural beats things, or they would play acoustic versions of hip-hop songs with a ukulele strumming to the beat.
Well, the album
and some listless white lady singing.
432 hertz, and it's that frequency is supposed to enhance mental clarity and focus and promote a state of relaxation and calmness, which can help to reduce mental fog and increase concentration. So to me, I love this album. I already love binaural beats. I already love listening to music at a certain frequency, and I do feel like it is helpful. I know that some people think that binaural beats are scary. But perhaps that's because you're not as aligned as you need to be, so it's scaring you.
First off, music can affect people in different ways, okay? So, yeah, like, if binaural beats inherently gives me a sense of dread...
But perhaps that's because you're unaligned. You need to realign your chakras so you won't be scared.
You know what? Then how about you with your aligned chakras listen to some drill music?
I do, and I love it. Fucking love drill music.
You love drill music?
I do love drill music.
You love drill music.
I love drill music.
I've never seen you listen to not a
Are you in my Apple Music?
I
listening
am.
To the... No, you're not.
I am. I'm in your algorithm.
No, you're not.
I'm the reason why... Look, hey, come the end of the year, I'm going to be the reason why a certain artist shows up at the top of your playlist, and you're not going to like it.
I don't want to know who it is, and I'm going to delete them. No, I think that...
I won't say anything, but I will say that you'll believe you can fly out the window.
You would not do that. Because then you would have to listen to those songs.
No.
You're going to put it on my playlist and leave and just play it?
Put the song on repeat.
No.
Literally, all you have to do is this. Put the song on repeat, turn the volume all the way down, just let it play in the background.
No. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, I enjoyed it.
You just mute it and that's it.
What were your thoughts of the album?
All right. Well, okay. First and foremost.
Whack.
I had to get that out the
way.
I had to get that out the way.
You're a hater.
I am not a hater.
You're hating so hard right now.
I am not a hater. Let me explain. The best aspect to me of this album is the track list and the names of the titles.
Okay.
Track number 1 is called I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally the way that the wind blew me this time. I fucking love that. That is absolutely amazing. Like, more albums in general should have songs that are just sentences that explain the goddamn song. No more like Rain on Me and then it just repeats the hook. No. Have a sentence that explains the song. Second song. The slang word pussy rolls off the tongue with far better ease than the proper word vagina. Do you agree?
Asking
and
questions.
Honestly, I do.
I do agree.
I do agree.
It
It sounds so much. First off, it's 2 syllables versus 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Already better. Second of all, there's the double S's. That's already like eliciting an emotion. Vagina just like literally.
It sounds
like,
clerical
it sounds clinical and like it just sounds like rough terrain essentially. Like vagina. Like come on.
Some people do have rough
But
terrain.
here's my thing. My favorite track.
Uh-huh.
Ants to you, gods to who?
Oh, you know what? 93 till infinity and Beyonce.
Dreams once buried beneath the dungeon floor slowly sprout into undying gardens.
You know what?
So, like,
it's like he had haikus.
He knows that he can still go as far. Like, I mean, if you listen to the Killer Mike album recently, like he killed it on his verse. I think it was called "Scientists and Professors" or some shit. Anyhow, it was really good. It was a really good album. Really
he
good song.
said that in an interview recently. He was saying that the reason why he hasn't come up with a rap album is because he's like, I'm like, what is he, 45?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm older. I don't, like, what am I supposed to be talking about? My colonoscopy? Which it was funny.
Jay-Z did.
But I personally think that even though, like, I think that the best music pulls from your life experiences. And he's someone who always has something to say about, like, I know that he would have something to say about Israel and Palestine, the Congo, Ethiopia, Haiti and DR. Like, I know that he has something to say about those. And I would listen to an album of him just having, like, these very deep conversations that are bringing people to a certain awareness. Because I don't think for him, he never was like, oh, I'm just this, like, hip-hop artist who's talking about the streets and women and like getting money. It was always something
There was
deeper.
an ethereal essence about him that he was a storyteller that talked about everything that he saw, everything that he felt, and a lot of like he explored human interaction.
Yes.
Whether it be within the hood or in a larger part like of humanity.
Yes.
So
and I think that
I understand for sure that like if he came out with a rap album, it would definitely be an exploration of where he's at in his current time and probably be more worldly than just what's going on in his own personal ecosystem.
Exactly.
So I understand that.
And so I think that's I do think he feels a lot of pressure because everyone's always like, oh, Andre 3000, the best lyricist, da 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 da. And like when he does put out when he has a feature with someone, it's always a hit. He's always the best person on that song. And I'm sure that's probably a lot of like anxiety and like analysis paralysis on like how can I make a whole album that is going to top what I had before, because like what Speaker Box or The Love Below was his last album that he did alone, and then Idlewild in 2016 came out with him and Big Boy. But I'm curious if he's just like he doesn't want to get the critique. But I like the album. I'm glad that he made it, and I look forward to listening to it while I'm meditating and or sleeping.
I will not be listening to this again, ever. Like, unless I pick up yoga again. In which case, I will listen to it. Because that is the time and place. But no offense, but, like, I'm not listening to this, like, all right, I'm going to get jazzed up to get ready for work. And it's...
No, this is like,
No.
I want to wake up on a Saturday morning, put this on, be relaxing, and doing my stuff. And, like, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thankful that he put out something new because we've been wanting it. And we've been needing it because he is definitely a artist that is like iconic, and we always appreciate whenever he comes out with some kind of music. And this was just in time for like the Grammy nominations, because those are the Grammy nominations for this year just came out, and there were a lot of different artists across R&B and hip hop who got nominated, like Victoria Monet, Coco Jones, SZA, etc. And I'm hoping that he gets a nom for next year, because I think that would be dope.
As far as categories, well, he would probably be in. What,
it would probably be in like
it would definitely
new
not
age,
new
or
age.
Jazz. It's not gonna. But this is the thing.
World
music.
Yeah, world music.
Has he
actually? You know what? Now I've turned the corner on this. I think that the album could be like a launching pad for him to be considered for a Grammy in world music.
Yeah.
Because how many black people can say that they have that under their belts, especially motherfuckers from Atlanta.
Exactly.
So that would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing it. I vote for it with my whole entire ass.
All right. So, are you ready to move on to some more distressing topics in pop culture?
Sure.
All right. So, we have a little bit of an update. Last week, we talked about Keke Palmer getting a restraining order against her ex and child's father, Darius Jackson. Now, I want to say a few days.
The unfamous.
The unfamous Jackson.
The unfamous Darius Jackson.
Because his brother is Soronis Jackson, who already has his own scandals and situations going on.
I have no idea who these brothers are.
Soronis is the one that was on Insecure. He played Dre. He was the one that was married and trying to have
a... wait! He's they're related?
Yeah, that's his brother. And
but that dude's handsome.
But this is the thing. I mean, he's handsome.
This guy's not bad looking, but he's
not his brother.
He's not his brother, and two, he cannot grow a mustache to save his fucking life. Like, I don't know how old he is, but he like first off, if you are 25 and older and you can't grow a mustache, just keep your face shaved forever. Like, that's it. Like, you just cannot grow beard hair. Like, I shout out to my dad. I love my dad, but he always used to compliment me because, like, of the two of us, he was never able to grow like beard hair. Mm-hmm. Like, I think at most he had like a mustache, but never even a goatee. Like, he couldn't grow beard hair, and we get that from his dad on his side, which is cool. As far as like hair on the head, it's great that I got the facial stuff from my mom's side, and also the goddamn head hair stuff from my mom's side. So that's fun.
Hair loss is typically from the mom's side, more so than from the dad's side. But I just want to say something really funny real quick. I was just looking to see how old Darius Jackson is. Yeah. And he's so like a non-factor and irrelevant that he doesn't, if you put in Darius Jackson age, he doesn't even come up. It's a football player.
Yeah, that's not Darius.
But his brother is 33 years old. Okay. Do they have... They know, is his name Darius Dalton? Why? Okay, I guess he has another name online. But he's probably between 30 and 33 because his brother is 33 years old.
Go backwards, and then just type age.
I did.
No, but you did it for Darius Jackson.
Oh, Darius Dalton. Let me try that one.
Yeah.
But his last name is Jackson, so who would have thought? Like, why would I think to go to?
I think that's his acting name. I don't think that's his...
Darius Dalton is probably his acting name. He was born in 1994, so he's 29 years old. He's a year younger than Keke Palmer. But the fact that he's so irrelevant, if I wrote up anybody else's name...
Hold on. We should probably go over the story and give context.
Sorry.
We're jumping...
I'm getting passionate about it.
We're putting the cart before the horse.
Okay, so basically...
Let's talk about what's going on.
Last week we talked about Keke Palmer filing a temporary restraining order and full custody order against her ex, Darius Jackson.
Yes.
That was approved and all that. Now, in retaliation, Darius, in all of his dumbness, he decided he was going to send a recorded conversation that is illegal under California law to record someone without their consent, to send that to blogs. No blogs picked it up. Not TMZ, not the New York Post, not like the Shade Room.
And there's a reason for that.
Because it's illegal.
Well,
it is illegal.
And now that you're saying that it's illegal,
no, it's illegal for them to share. It's not illegal for us to share it. We didn't.
Are you?
No.
Are you absolutely sure?
No one's gonna listen. No one's gonna come and sue us for posting up something that's been widely. It has now been talked about and showed and shared. The Breakfast Club was talking about it. This is not a legal situation for us.
All right, I'm just making sure. Because, you know, I got a lot to lose now. Like, before I was like, out here, like, yeah, like, during the summertime, I was like, yeah, let's just be radical. Now I'm like, actually, I'm signing some NDAs. Now, but anyhow, here's a clip from the conversation that old dude recorded, which is a little bit confusing because, so, if I'm to understand this correctly, he is with Keke Palmer in person. And Keke Palmer is live in person with him as he's recording Keke Palmer's mom, who is on the phone. Did I get that correct?
So basically what happened, this was one of the times where he showed up.
Was that correct, though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He showed up at Keke Palmer's house and was there arguing with her and all that. And her mom was on the phone, and her mom is responding to the situation and the incidents and the threats, etc., that he has been lodging against Keke.
Okay, so I will play
content warning, lots of cursing, lots of disparaging remarks, etc., etc. It's not pretty.
I will play a minute of this. All right, 1 minute of it, and here you go.
Who harasses a woman? What kind of bullshit is that? Your mama should be ashamed of herself. She should be telling you, why are you harassing this girl, Jerry?
Because
why are you doing this?
Why say horrible things to her?
She's the one that kept wanting to come back around. Trust me, I didn't want this.
But that makes no sense as to why you harass. You don't. There's no need to say horrible things and send me this Usher picture. There's no reason for that. You do that because you're nuts. There's no reason for you to say that. Jezebel, calling me Haiti. That's all unnecessary. You do all of that unnecessarily because something's wrong with your mind. It's not normal. You sound like you have a broken brain and you need to go to see somebody because you're chemically imbalanced. There's nothing that I've done for you to stay on that page. People have endured more. I've endured more from you, and I don't do that to you. I don't sit up there and call you all kinds of names and do stuff like that. You randomly have an episode and then you harass me for an hour straight. That's what you do.
Now I'm gonna
it's not normal. It's not necessary. You could just not talk to me.
Okay, so look, that is a minute clip of a 7-minute fucking interaction. Here's the thing. I want to be very clear on this. I need to be very clear on this, right? The dude is based on what is in this clip and what Keke Palmer is saying, like, I am of a firm belief that there is probably some mental illness going on with this dude. Mm-hmm. That does not excuse his behavior. I will never just sit here and say, oh, because somebody is mentally ill or neurodivergent or has some type of mental challenges that is enough to excuse somebody's behavior, because I am somebody who believes in like accountability and like owning up to your shit. Now, with that being said, the dude harassed her. She is totally obviously within her right to read this motherfucker, and read him she did. Read him she did. Read him she did.
Continue.
I like it. It's not that big of an issue. I don't wanna sit here and condone throwing people's mental illnesses in their faces. However, like, I think within this context, I can give a pass, mainly because the victim is the one who's doing it. So, like, see, I understand nuance, and I understand context. So I'm not about to just dismiss Kiki just because she said something that didn't gel with my fucking perspective. This is not black and white. Yeah, like, I don't 100% agree with how that was said, but I will shoot her bail for sure, because she is 100% in the right to say all these things because she was harassed by this dude. And this dude can go fuck himself in general. Like, cause he did go on a whole tirade campaign of calling her a whore and a Jezebel and stuff, all because she wanted to shake ass in front of Usher and shit. And it turns out the whole time she was in an abusive relationship. So, quite frankly, like, if Usher wanted to, like, bat his eyes her way, like, and give her a fucking feeling, I'm okay with that. That's fucking fine. Like, that's absolutely fine in my book. Like, that's fucking okay. Like, and I hope that Kiki gets to a place where she is 100% free of this dude. Obviously, there's gonna be ties and connections because they share a child together. But, like, my hope is that she can, like, limit the interaction between her and her son, her child. I don't know if they have a son or a daughter. Limit the interaction between her and her child for their own personal peace and mental health and safety and shit. And this dude, go get some fucking therapy. Like fuck you, miss me with that bullshit.
I will say, like, now when you listen to, it's like a 7-minute, 8-minute long.
It's a very long clip.
Recording. Now, these are the things I'll say. One, when you hear the recording, he sounds very calm. He's just responding. But this is the thing, like, if your abusers will always try to make you look out to be the crazy person and the bad person. And he knew he was recording. They didn't know. So her mom.
Textbook 101. Like,
yes, there were things that her mom said that were homophobic, that were xenophobic, that were bigoted in various ways, right? But he knew that he was trying to paint them as the bad guys. So he was going to record this conversation, not say any of the nasty things that he both confirmed that he said and that they said, calling her a cunt, a Jezebel, a whore, etc., things we didn't even see on social media that he said, and then he was talking to her privately. So it's like, to me, when I watch the video, I think about, like, my mom. And
please finish the rest of that sentence quickly.
If I told her that my child's father was saying something or doing something that was rude or harassing, she would say whatever she feels necessary to say to get that person out of my life and to make them feel so ashamed and small for what they did, regardless.
Oh, for sure. I already, like, imagine, like, what your mom would say about, like, any of your paramours. Like, in my mind. It's like when you, if you've ever met her mother, and I pray that you do, she's old school American black woman, and has that extra level of sauce because she grew up in New York. Which means from the first, I would say the first 2 interactions, because the first one might be nice, might be just like, whatever. The second one is like, oh, so you're going to be around for a while? All right, let me Terminator look at you from top to bottom, see all your fucking flaws and flavors. And I love and respect that, because that's what I do with everybody that I meet. Every human being that I've ever met, from fucking rip, I go, all right, size you up. All right, I can tell what your flaws and flavors are. And honestly, as I've gotten older, like, I either say I'll fuck with it or I won't fuck with it. And oh boy, that just reminded me of something that made me mad. but we don't have time for that. I interrupted you. I recognize that.
It's okay. You're making a point.
The point that I was trying to make is that, a mother has the absolute right to read their child's significant other if their child's significant other is fucking up in a horrible way and abusing their child. Yeah. That is their goddamn right. So whatever language they use, it doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter. All fucking polite rules of society go out the window when you're dealing with your child and the safety of your child. Doesn't matter how old the child is. It all goes out the fucking window. Yeah. Fucking. And
she said that her mother has come out and said that she feared for Kiki's life, which is why, like, there was one part of the conversation where she threatened him with a bullet to his head, because she's like, if you keep acting like this, I'm going to harm you because you're not going to harm my daughter. And if you read the restraining order, Kiki alleged that he had gotten rough with the baby during changing and stuff like that. So it's like, you're not only are you being abusive emotionally to my daughter, but you're also being abusive and harming my grandbaby. And that's not going to stand because she's an adult and she can work through and figure out and process what's going on. This baby cannot. So as much as there were things in that, what she said, that yes, when you're looking at them objectively, no, it's not right or whatever, but also, I do not begrudge any person in the heat of the moment, especially when they feel like someone is being threatened and they are trying to figure out a way out of that situation, to say it. Like, what she might have said may not have sounded great to you, but she has more knowledge of the situation because she's probably talking to her daughter. She has literally, we have never heard Keke Palmer's mom speak.
Yeah. She stays up the line.
We've never heard her speak. Whatever Keke was doing.
The closest thing we heard to Keke Palmer's mom speak was fucking when we were watching Akilah and the Bee, and that was Angela Bassett, I believe.
Yes, we never hear her speak. It doesn't matter whether Keke has done something good, bad, or indifferent in the media. She never says a word. Even when everything came out with Darius calling her out about Usher, never said a word. But it wasn't until the situation where we find out that Keke was being abused physically and emotionally and mentally that her mom came out and was cursing out Serranis for his alleged tweets that were talking about Keke and her brother and his brother situation. But I also I found out this week that apparently their mother, Darius and Serranis' mother, has a restraining order against their father. That came out 4 months after she filed for divorce, and it is allegedly domestic violence was in the home. And now, if you think about it, they were married for a while. These men are adults, and their mom is just now divorcing and filing for a restraining order. Who knows what was going on in that household? And this is not to give them any leeway for that. It's to just be mindful of the fact that abuse is a cycle and it will continue happening until someone stops it, whether by hook or by crook. So I am so grateful that Keke has gotten out of that situation, has taken her son out of that situation. She has the money and the resources to protect herself against this man, because no child should have to grow up with family in discord and violence and stress and sadness, because it is pointless. And I hope that she finds someone that is going to love and care for her in the way that she deserves, because she doesn't deserve any of that foolishness.
Agreed.
So we have one more, what is it, one more? Yeah.
Yep.
We have one more thing to talk about, which is I'm going to give you a huge content warning.
Okay, hold on.
because it is not at all happy or safe.
We're entering into some dark territory, my friends, so please understand that what we are about to do and what we're about to talk about is fucking sensitive.
Yeah.
All right? So
warning.
That is your warning. Please skip to the second half of the podcast if you want to just, like, avoid all this.
Yeah.
You have been warned. Let's go.
Okay, so you know Cassie, me and you got a long way to go.
Ditto.
She came up on MySpace when we were in high school, starting college, and then she got signed by Diddy and then, like, you know, took off.
Yes.
Now, when she met Diddy, she was 19. Mm-hmm. He is about 15 years older than her because she's 37 now and he's 54. They met in 2019 when she was 2007 when she was 19. They began like this music relationship and also like romantic relationship.
Sure.
And in that 10 years, because I think they officially ended their relationship in 2018, she alleged in a lawsuit that came out this week that he was both physically abusive to her, sexually abusive to her, and was basically sex trafficking her, implying her with drugs and alcohol to basically bring out his fantasies. She says that he used to make her find black male prostitutes online and have sex with them while he watched. And he would give her drugs, and she would take the drugs to be able to, like, get through what was happening with her, that he would beat on her, that he blew up Kid Cudi's car because they were seeing each other, which has been confirmed, that he raped her in 2018 after she had, I believe she had broken off the relationship, and then he wanted to see her and have sex. She said no, and he barged in and raped her. And she said that in the lawsuit that he was prone to uncontrollable rage and savage beatings. Now, obviously, this was a bombshell, but I think what was even more telling is that he literally settled within 24 hours. He settled with
$30 million.
$30 million. He settled with her, and he said they both put out that they would like to, they have decided, in her statement, she said, I've decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. And he said, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. Now, I will say that everything that she described in this relationship, when she was 19, starting when she was 19 and he was 37, which is disgusting. But that starting from that, I 100% believe everything she had to say. Because one, when people have now been popping up with stories and reposting pictures and things of years ago, like, for instance, when she cut her hair into that bob and it was like the whole new look. There was rumors going around then that he had like pulled her hair out. And I had completely forgotten about that until this comes out. And then people were resurfacing that the rumor was he had pulled her hair out and that's why she needed a bob. There was a time when she alleged that she had gotten in a ATV accident in Dubai because she was on social media with like a busted lip and a busted eye. And she said it was an ATV accident. There's another video of a few years ago where she was crouched under a blanket, covering herself, hiding, and he's behind the camera talking about, look how silly you look. Come on, let's go outside and go to the beach, get some air. You know you look silly, et cetera, et cetera. Like so many examples of her being hidden in plain sight. Also, examples of other relationships he's been with Kim Porter. He allegedly broke her nose. She allegedly stabbed him with a corkscrew after he tried to beat her. And just so many other things have been coming back into public focus. And I just hope and pray that anyone who has been impacted by him and his toxic behavior gets what they deserve, and I hope that he gets what he deserves. Because at the end of the day, even though you have people out here like Jason Lee and Slim Thug and Polar J. Parker who are coming out and talking about, oh, these people, how are you going to be abused for that long, for 10 years, and not come out, and are we sure this is happening? Cassie said in the lawsuit, the reason why she came out about this now is because there was a law that removed the statute of limitations on sexual abuse, and that I think this week or last week was when it ended. So she needed to put it out there before they went back to the status quo, and that's why she did it. And regardless, there are people who, it doesn't matter if they were 5, 10, 20, 60, who have been abused, who have not known how to say it. They have not known how to confront the person. And those are regular people who are not even dealing with people with money and power that could be used to blow up someone's car and not face any criminal charges. I feel like people are literally just being dumb for no reason. If you know somebody has the power to buy the videotapes of them beating you from hotels and never having them linked, of sending you to MRIs and never getting that information and never having that linked, and literally physically harming other people and also harming their property with no criminal charges, why do you think that they would feel comfortable to talk about that in public to everyone else? It's very frustrating. And for anyone who has been a victim of abuse, regardless of what it is, already understands how difficult it is to say something, because you don't know how people are going to react, if they're going to believe you, if they're going to blame you somehow. And so I don't understand why it is so difficult for folks to understand that Cassie, at 19 years old, dealing with a 37-year-old man, may have had more difficulty coming forward than she does right now at 37 with a husband who is there to support and protect her.
Right. Understood. Thank you. I'm going to say something, and I want it to be clear that what I'm saying is for a larger scope, and I am not victim blaming. I see all of this happening. One, my heart goes out to Cassie. I hope she is doing what she can to heal from all this. And I personally believe that what she experienced happened. I think that this was an opportunity for us within the Black community, within the hip-hop community, to bring accountability to a powerful Black man. And instead, what ended up happening is that there was a settlement. I'm not blaming Cassie for taking money. I'm not calling her a gold digger. I'm not calling her anything like that. I'm not saying that, like, what she did was wrong. But there was a very real opportunity for accountability within the hip-hop community, that to the point, because, like, it's just like with Bill Cosby. Like, and there's a reason why I didn't do Diddy was going to buy NBC. Like, there's a reason why I didn't do that joke. Is because this is, like, this Russell Simmons and L.A. Reid are, like, the biggest, like, stories of that. But, like, L.A. Reid, like, he fucked off. Russell Simmons fucked off. Diddy was never going to just fuck off. And so it seemed like the solution was to pay it off, and this will go away. And the sad truth is that this story is going to go away relatively quickly. It's gonna go away, and it sucks because that is just the nature of things. Like, that is the nature of these stories. They are sensationalized, and we could capture this moment, bring a real change and accountability, but because the matter itself has ended, like, this will go back into, ironically, it'll go back in the closet, trapped in the closet, and it will just become murmurs, whispers, and industry, like, anecdotes in closed rooms for a very long time, and that's upsetting.
The only thing I disagree with you about is that I think that the reason for her having a settlement versus going to court is because of the possible abuse and re-traumatization that she would feel at this because of what's going on. Because a lot of the things, unfortunately, they could say that she willingly participated in, regardless of why she participated in them. And that could cause harm to herself and her family. And then also, even if she has settled, if they find criminal activity, especially the sex trafficking charges, she does not need to be a part of the trial or to go to trial in order for that to be brought forth. That is up to the criminal system. And I think that this also will hopefully give credence to so many other people who have come out and spoken against him, because she's not the only one. She's just the one that has gotten the most limelight, and people have been listening to the most because they know her. But there have been so many allegations that have come up through the years that people have been sharing recently online. And there's so many people Usher could speak up. Justin Bieber could speak up. Faith could speak up. There's so many people, and we need to have a reckoning in hip-hop, in the Me Too movement, because we have not had that yet. Drew Dixon did a whole documentary on L.A. Reid, on just hip-hop, Diddy, Russell Simmons, etc., and it has gone nowhere except for being a top documentary on HBO. So I hope that at the very least we take this information, we use it, and we hold people to the fire to be better and do better. Because every time something like this happens, you have all the people who have been around these artists and these celebrities with all this money who will put out these cryptic posts because they don't feel comfortable or protected to be able to say what they feel and what they mean. Because regardless of who these people are in the limelight, they are also very powerful people in their fields, and it is very difficult to do that. And if Cassie, if she thought and felt like she can get the bare minimum of what she needs by just having the settlement and not having to go through the rigmarole of a trial, then I'm all for it. We're gonna take a break.
Yes,
because this has been a lot.
I will just end your thing by saying, like, I'm gonna hope that is what happens, but
we'll see.
We shall see. We'll monitor the situation. All right, we're gonna go in for a quick break, but we will be right back with more of the Black and Snerdy podcast.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
We now return to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
Running out of time, running out of time, running out of time, running out of time to make you love me. Running out of time, running out of time. To make you love me. Oh, you turn my head around. I've been looking for it. I've been running out of spells to make you love me. Keep it up. It's mostly instrumentals.
time, running out of time, running out of time.
To make you love me. Yeah. All right. That's enough.
What song is that?
That's Running Out of Time by Tyler, the Creator, from his Igor album, which, honestly, my favorite Tyler, the Creator album. And I've been with Tyler, the Creator since, like, he started. Yeah. Like, I'm talking Odd Future. I'm talking Bastard. I'm talking Wolf. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, Cherry Bomb... Explosion, whatever the fuck that album was weird, but I appreciate it in hindsight because is like he was always experimenting. Yeah. And I hate to invoke his name, but I think that's what I appreciated about Kanye. Yeah. Is that like he was always like experimenting with new sounds over time. Yeah. You know, like I appreciate an artist who won't just like phone it in and just be like, I'm gonna give you more of what you want. Like literally, okay, here's what you do. First album is it's a lot like stand-up comedy. First album is like you're throwing whatever like bits and bobbles you think are like great that you've spent 5 to 10 years cultivating. Mm-hmm. You're throwing that out there to see what people like. And that's, you've literally worked a whole entire lifetime to get to that point. The second album, now you're like zoning in on what people like. Mm-hmm. Third and fourth album, it should be like you have a choice to either double down on what you know people like or go a different direction if you're trying to be an artist, you know? And a lot of artists just like double down, you know? Like, so that's what I always appreciated about I'm about to say Travis Scott, which also I do appreciate Travis Scott, but Tyler, the Creator. All right, let us move into our mental health section. Every week we check in with each other in our mental health. We are advocates, not experts when it comes to mental health. We are lucky enough to be able to go to therapy and take medication and all the dope shit. So that's great.
Are you ready for our mental health Q&A with M&O?
I am. We usually start us off with a question.
Does social media make you feel better or worse about yourself?
Oh, worse. Oh, absolutely worse. What? Oh, absolutely worse.
Why worse?
Are you kidding me? I look like Facebook is notorious for doing these like, ooh, remember when? Like fucking posts. Yeah. Like you'll scroll through and like, ooh, remember like in 2003 when you didn't have a gut and like, you know, your teeth were fucking white, like, and you didn't smoke Black and Milds, like, ooh, remember when? Don't you want to post about that? And I'm like, you insidious bitch, I know what you're doing. Like, you're making me feel bad. And then all of my algorithms are, I try to get my algorithms tailored to just being, like, more lighter fare. Yeah. Like, more just, like, wrestling and anime shit. You know? But even within all of that, they give me the bad stuff about wrestling. Like, ooh, like, you know, like, backstage drama and fucking people being weirdos and fucking just...
Sex pests and shit. And I'm just like, I don't need to be inundated with that. Like, if I'm going to... That's why I think when I do my dry month, which I'm going to do in January, which might be hard, but it's going to be hard. But I think my dry month is going to be January, and I think I'm going to do alcohol and social media. I'm going to delete all social media apps and just... not be on social media for those months.
How do you think that will impact the podcast?
Well, we're taking a break anyway, so.
Not in January.
You don't know that.
No,
how do you know?
I do know. We talked about it.
Well, aren't you the social media expert? You're supposed to be the social media of it. So the posts are gonna keep flowing. In theory, the posts should be flowing.
I'm going to be the one to take on all the horrors of social media while you just relax?
I mean, yeah. That's, look, when we were divvying out bits of what we were going to do, you signed up for social media, so. But you're strong, so you got this.
No, I'm not. I'm a delicate fucking flower.
No, you're strong.
No.
I'm not.
No.
I'm a delicate fucking flower.
Two things can be true. You can be a delicate flower. That's the duality of Odochi, Iwoma, eBay. Is that you're a delicate flower, but you're tough as nails. Anyhow, but how do you answer this question?
I would say...
Does it make you feel better or worse about yourself?
It depends on where I'm looking. I would say generally it makes me feel worse about myself because you could see all the people that you see your peers, and I will say in some ways I am doing way better. Like when I think about my people that I went to school with, from elementary to high school, definitely doing a lot better. But then when I think about college, then it's like there's some people I'm on the same tier with, but then others who are doing what I would like to be doing.
Yes. Okay, so then let me ask you this: instead of you tackling it from, because you have a multifaceted answer instead of just straight up binary yes or no. I'm gonna throw at you a social media platform, and you're gonna tell me if it makes you feel better or worse about yourself. Okay. Facebook.
Better because a lot of those people are dumb.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends from forever ago, and a lot of their posts are stupid. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely doing better than you, and not about like financially or in life-wise, but just I'm not an idiot.
In totality. Twitter.
That one's a mixed bag. Because in some ways, it makes me feel better because there's a lot of idiots on Twitter. And in some ways, I feel worse because I'm seeing my friends who are doing the work that I want to be doing. And that I thought that I would be doing right now.
Okay. Instagram. And mind you, Instagram is the one that you're on the majority. You're more on Instagram than any other social media.
I think that too is a mixed bag. Like, so I would say it makes me feel bad about myself, like the outward self, because there's all these people who are constantly like, look at me, look at my body, look at what I'm doing. I'm like 35 and I am a mom, but I have 3 kids, but like, look at how I look. And those things make me feel bad about myself. But also, I think that but also on Instagram, I would say I feel very, a lot of acknowledgement. Like, say, for instance, even just for like ADHD. Because of my algorithm, because of what I like and what I post and what I talk about, I get a lot of ADHD related or neurodivergence related posts. And I think that makes me feel better about myself because I know that the things that I am dealing with are not isolated to me. And even though I might think they are, but I could see that a lot of other people are also going through those things. So in that aspect, I would say it makes me feel better because I feel seen and heard, and like also getting a lot of good information on how to mitigate things.
I have a theory about that. I actually think that Instagram, more so TikTok, but Instagram, because there's the integration into it, is actually doing worse for people with mental illness and specifically ADHD than it is helping.
Why do you say that?
Because literally, like for ADHD, like for people with ADHD, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but for ADHD, you already have a problem with focus and attention spans and shit, right?
Yes.
And so they're literally optimizing the small amount of time, the 30-second window that they have to like optimize that so that people with ADHD can fucking get this information. And here's the thing. Even if the ones who are doing it to help people with ADHD by optimizing the information, hoping that they will find it and get them all the help that they would need, you're still swiping up and seeing a little baby elephant like blow its nose.
That's
and then fall.
true. I honestly
all it's doing is conditioning you to only focus your attention in 30-second increments. That's all it's doing. And I feel like that is extremely harmful in the long run for people who already have trouble with focus.
Well, I think that
focusing.
it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand,
you're getting all this information.
I'm gonna hyper-focus.
Will you retain it? Actually,
I'm gonna hyper-focus on things regardless. You could pick something, I'll figure out a way to hyper-focus on it. So social media as a whole is something that I have to actively work on not hyper-focusing on, or else I'm just gonna be scrolling throughout the day and missing a lot of like what I'm actually supposed to be doing. But I will say that like those bite-sized bits of information specific to ADHD are helpful to me, because I'm like, because with ADHD, a lot of it, in my opinion, is connected to mirroring. And so, which is why I find it very important to make sure that I am around people that I actually want to be mirroring, because that is how I'm going to connect and relate to the world. So if you're doing something good and in a way, in something better than I can do it, I'm going to be looking to mirror you. And if there's someone on social media that I'm following that is posting something that is actionable, that I could take, a step that I could take to help me in something I'm struggling with, that is going to be helpful. But the problem comes in where it's like the dopamine that comes from scrolling and getting likes and notifications, that the problem is that, not the content creators, because what the people who are doing, I'm not blaming the content
creators. I'm blaming the platform.
Yeah, no, it's the platform, because I mean the same way like TikTok has had a lot of controversies over the last few years about
I'm not blaming any of it. I'm blaming the structure and the timing, like,
because it's making
the structure of it.
The structure is so that people, regardless of your neurodivergence or lack of neurodivergence, is so that you're taking bite-sized information so quickly, which I do take umbrage with, because as a journalist, knowing that people
you can't get the
are
full
reading
context of anything from 30 seconds.
They're reading like 20%, I believe was the last statistic. You're reading about 20% of an article. And usually, like, you have the nut graph, you're going to put on, if you're reading something, the nut graph is going to have the main portion of the content that you need to know. And like, you can get a bit of that, but you need to read the rest of it so you can connect the dots and understand the greater context within what you're reading. And with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, you're giving people bite-sized bits of information. The problem is, whereas for me, if I see something online and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it in a little 30-second snapshot, I'm going to then hyper focus on that. I'm going to go look it up. I'm going to read more information. I'm going to make sure that I can have the most information possible. But for the average everyday person, they're not going to do that. They're going to see this bite-sized bit of information, and they're going to take that and they're going to connect it to whatever is going on in their life or whatever thing that they're thinking about or talking about, and they're not going to go forward. And I think that is definitely a big problem, because we already have a dearth of attention. Regardless of if you have an attention deficit disorder, the issue is going to be people's attention, because they do not want to spend more than a certain amount of time reading or watching or understanding something. And I think that is a negative when we think about critical thinking, because sometimes you have to be able to spend more time going deep into a subject so you could fully understand it, fully like understand the nuances and idiosyncrasies of it. But that is a problem. And now, but I would say that for people with ADHD, the problem is not that we're going to see the information and only take those little bite-sized bits. It's that we're going to see the information and then hyper-focus on that information and spend hours of time that we could be doing something else.
That's
trying
also not good.
It's not good, because you're taking away from the time you could be doing something else.
Yes.
And so it's like, it's very important to be able to figure out a way to balance that, with yourself, and that to me is always difficulty. Like I've had a variety.
I want to pose something to you. And this could be done after our 100th episode.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pose a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'll put it on this podcast. The challenge is this. If you agree to this and you win,
okay,
I will give you, and I'll even screenshot it, $500 Venmo or
Zelle, because they don't take the money out. I can get it all at one time.
Yeah. The challenge is this. You have to spend the first 3 months of 2024 only using social media as far as your job and for podcasting.
So no posting?
You can post for podcasts.
Okay, but what about like if I see something I can't post it on my story?
Will it drive for the podcast? Will it enhance the podcast? Will it get us more listeners?
Okay.
Will it build our fan base?
Listen, I will. First of all, you coming up off money is something that I will always take the chance to do that. So that means, so you're saying for the first 3 months, so that's from January to March.
January, February, March. No, until April. Until April 1st.
Until April, you're making it.
April 1st. April 1st.
Okay,
that's the first 3 months.
Fine. From January 1st to April 1st, that I could only look and post. I'm only posting on my social media.
You can only go on social media if it's specifically for the podcast or for your day job.
People are gonna think I'm dead.
Oh wow. Oh wow. That's the challenge.
Okay, so
and look, if you can't do it and if you don't want to take that money, that's
Listen,
fine.
okay, no.
It's okay.
No, I'm just clarifying. I'm clarifying. So if
Odie doesn't want to take the challenge.
I'm gonna stay off social media from January 1st to April 1st, and you're gonna give me $300.
I said first off, I didn't
500. I said 500.
First off, if you want $300,
no, I want 500. I want 500. No, we're $500.
Now we're
it's $500.
Now we're negotiating.
Now I want 1,000.
$100.
Now I want 1,000
each month.
No, now I want 1,000. No, it's either 500 or nothing. So it's 500. You already said, y'all heard him say 500. It's 500. So I will take the bet that from January 1st to April 1st, I will not look on social media unless it's for the podcast.
You know what? How about this? I'll do 500 till your birthday.
No, you're not doing that because we have already agreed on April 1st.
You threw in that it's 300.
No, it's
$500.
It's $500. It's 500. No, it's 500. It's 500.
So all I'm doing is saying.
No, it's 500 because if it's until my birthday, then I need $1,000.
If it's until
June 1st, I need $1,000.
June 1st for
$1,000. If it's until $1,000, I need for June 1st $1,000.
How does that break down per month?
$250 a month, $200 a month? I don't care how much it breaks down, but I'm telling you, if it's until June 1st, it's $1,000. If it's until April 1st, $500.
Okay.
I'll take that bet.
Parameters again. Starting January 1st. You cannot go. You can only go on social media so far as
the podcast
is related to your app, your job, or the podcast.
Okay.
You cannot go on there and fucking answer messages.
Okay.
If it has nothing to do with the podcast.
What about saying posting up a happy birthday post?
No, whose birthday is your birthday or my birthday between April or
no? But between them is my stepmom's birthday, my mom's birthday, Erica's birthday.
You're gonna have to do that from the podcast, not your personal account.
Okay. I'm just saying. I'm clarifying with you right here, right now. so that if the world is listening to us,
everybody's listening.
$500, April 1st.
Okay.
Hey.
Again,
the
parameters
parameters.
You can only go on, which means you can only research social media for the podcast. Okay. So when you wake up in the morning and you roll over and you look at your phone, that would mean that you're doing research for the podcast.
Okay.
And if you're not doing research for the podcast, then fuck out of here. You got to get out of here for that.
Okay.
No, like
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing.
No, because I envision a world where I see you on social media and you just look at me and you say, "I'm researching the podcast." So now I'm gonna set another parameter.
Okay.
You get one parameter.
Okay. What is it?
I will give you $500. 3 months.
Okay.
No social media.
Okay.
The only time you go on social media
is for the podcast.
It's for the podcast.
Okay.
And the only time you can go on social media for the podcast is one day out of the week, and it's the day that we do the podcast.
That's, first of all, that's stupid.
No, it's
do
not.
you know how
No,
much?
it's not.
No,
No, it's not.
that's stupid
No, it's
because
not.
do you know how
No,
much
it's not.
things
You
happen
know, and-
throughout a
well,
week? Hence
you
why
have a-
I'm looking
so
on
you have
every
So
day.
you have a whole day to do research.
So you don't
So
want
you
to
have a
you don't
whole
want us
day.
to have a
You have a whole day.
well-rounded
You have a whole
social
day.
media
You have a whole
platform.
day.
I still
You
want
have a whole day to do
So I'm
research.
just gonna be clarifying.
You have
you
a
don't
whole
want
day to
so
do research.
you should you don't
have
want
a whole day to do research.
If I'm
you
the
have a whole
stop
day to go
stop
on,
talking
on the shade room
I-
and click
you're-
previous entries.
I'm just clarifying that on our social media page, you don't want there to be any social media activity Monday through Saturday. So I shouldn't be liking anything. I shouldn't be adding anything to our story. I shouldn't be posting anything. It should only be from Sunday is the only day that I'm allowed to look, pay attention to, understand anything that is happening in social media. And if, I'm just saying this because I don't personally feel like you understand social media.
You can spend 2 days out of the week.
2 days? Are you?
No, hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
You have to do your researching Sunday. You spend 2 days out of the week posting about the podcast.
I would like the listeners to write in, give your thoughts on this.
Promoting the podcast.
On this. And I'm going to say, is I'm going
Promoting
to
the
win this $500.
Promoting the podcast.
But I would like everybody
Promoting
to
the
talk
podcast.
about and write in on the
Anything
absurdity
that
of
you
these
share
rules
on
that
those
keep
stories
being
that you share
added
on the podcast
on
should
to
be
the
directed
original
to what this
to the
podcast is about and
original
what we do.
bet, because somebody over here is adding things arbitrarily.
I'm adding things that help your ass out. Because if
they
I'm
don't
being,
want to lose.
First off, I'm adding things to help your ass out. To help you out. I'm trying to help you and your social media addiction out. I'm trying to help you.
Okay, so you're
giving you 2 extra days. No, I could have just stuck with the 1 day.
So I'm
over here being like, oh yeah, 2 days so that you can post about the podcast. And then on Sunday, do all your research on the podcast.
So I'm
stories,
supposed to do
and then post,
all of the research.
Yep.
On what things happen throughout the week.
Yep.
Even though every single day there is a new main character of Twitter.
Yep.
And I'm supposed to go through and find out who all those people are.
Yep. And you know why I know it can be done? Because I do it too.
Just because you spend 1 day don't mean you're doing a good job doing it. You're just spending the day doing it. That's not doesn't mean you're doing a great job. You're just finding it.
At no point have I talked about the quality of your work. So.
Okay, fine. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I would
I'm sorry.
say that is not something that we should discuss on this podcast.
All right, fine. Here are the parameters. 2 days out of the week, I will research and or post on the social.
Mm-hmm.
And
at the end of the day, tell me what stories you want.
I will do that from January 1st until April 1st. And at the end of April 1st,
I will give you $500.
I will get $500.
I will give you $500.
Here.
April 2nd, I will give you $500.
Here.
Are you agreeing with that?
I'm agreeing to you.
Are you agreeing to
I'm
all
agreeing.
the parameters?
I'm agreeing to
We're
the
not
parameters.
adding any more parameters. We should probably write. I will listen to this and I will write down all the parameters.
All right, let's cheers and drink on it.
All right.
Yes.
Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure?
Yeah. I don't ever fucking back down from a bet. And you still owe me another bet, but we'll get to that part.
All right. Well.
All right. I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited. I love fucking bets. I love bets. Because you want to know what?
We'll see.
I want to win bets out of spite.
I'm sure. And if that forces you to do a good job, then. If I gotta create bets to. You know what? No.
You know what
no,
it is?
No. That's not fair. That's not fair because you know what it is? You entered down a road and I said maybe we shouldn't go down that road and my mind was prepared to go down that road, but I was like, don't do it. So I won't go down that road.
You want to know what it
I
is?
won't go down that road.
I will say that.
You said a thing, I said a thing. We're done.
The gamification of life.
The gamification
is helpful for me with my ADHD.
Sure.
Because I like games and I'm also extremely competitive and I like winning.
Sure.
So I want to win.
All right.
And I'm going to win.
We'll see.
Because I don't back down from a challenge.
All right. Look. Okay. You say that.
But now that we have passed the Q&A, tell me, how are you doing this week?
No, we're getting past any of we're going to keep this short. We will both keep this short.
Okay. Sure. Tell me how you're doing this week.
It's going well. So because I am so close to getting a new health insurance plan, I've been going back on my meds. It's weird because anytime though you go back on your meds, there's a weird transitional period. So it's too early for me to tell how well it is working and stuff, but I can feel the internal anxiety that I used to feel, or internalized anxiety that I used to feel when I was on my meds initially. Like, it's something that I can control, and that's good, but my fear is that it will come out in other unhealthy ways. There used to be a balance, there used to be a balance. And my fear is the time commitment of this new job will prevent me from having that balance. But we shall see. I shall play it as we see. How's your mental health this week?
My mental health has been pretty shitty. I have been working. I mean, I'm constantly working with my therapist on something. But I think, I've probably talked about this before on the podcast, but I feel a lot of ways I feel stunted. Because I know that both being undiagnosed with ADHD and also dealing with whatever traumas and things I've had to deal with in my life have impacted me in ways that are very frustrating to me and I would say those around me. And having to deal with those and register that and understand that is difficult. Also, living under capitalism is very difficult. Because regardless, knowing that you're living in a world that is not built for you and that does not take the time to understand you is very frustrating. So that is difficult for me. And I am just constantly hoping and wishing and praying that I can do better and be better, which causes me a lot of anxiety because I'm constantly trying to do my best. And my main goal for this new year is to get on medication. get back on medication, and to figure out how to navigate the world in the ways that are going to work best for me. And that is very frustrating because I am a perfectionist and I have a lot of expectations on myself. And I know that people have a lot of expectations on me because when people see me and they experience me, it is constantly in this lens of like, wow, she's so awesome. She's doing so many things. She's so talented. And having to live up to those expectations amidst having all the other things that I'm dealing with is a very frustrating and stressful situation for me. And so that is what I'm dealing with right now. And it's both like it's not like it's a personal, it's a professional, it's a all the things type of thing, and it's very frustrating to me because my therapist, when I was talking to her this week, she posed the question to me of like, you know, your ADHD isn't going anywhere. What are you going to do if this is your life forever? And I had to take a pause and not say anything that was going to get me committed. But it honestly, I feel like ADHD, especially if you are like high functioning, is a very stressful thing to deal with. And it's frustrating because people around you are constantly putting you on some type of pedestal, and you're not living, when you don't live up to the expectations that they have, it is turned against you in some way, and that is very frustrating for me. And having to sift through that type of what is it called? It's like a boulder on my back. And that is it's very frustrating and it's very upsetting. It's a lot on me. And I know that like I'm doing my best, but like, what do you do when your best is not good enough for those around you? And that's kind of like how I feel. And honestly trying to work on my inner ableism, which I would say is just like a manifestation of the world that we've grown up in, because you have not been allowed to be different and need certain accommodations or things, because people do not want to do that. They don't want to have patience. They don't want to have understanding. They just want you to do the thing the way they would do it, regardless of whether or not that's the only way to do it. And that is something that's very frustrating. But yeah, I think that's basically been how I'm feeling this week, and just working to try to figure out how I can be the best me I can be, inside of a paradigm that does not work.
I want to pitch this for the 100th episode. I think we should spend I think it should just be an hour long, and I think we should use it as like a constructive criticism feedback episode, but also like a episode where we like not diagnose each other, but like really like have a conversation about some of like what we have been going through individually, how we see the other person on the outside, and like work through some of these things. And if we don't get to a solve, then that's fine. But I think it would be an interesting episode to have. I'm pitching that for the 100th episode. I'm pitching that for the 100th episode because like a lot of what you just said makes a lot of sense, and I understand how it makes sense to you. There was, I think, one thing that I would push back from, but we don't have time to get into it. So, like, unfortunately, I feel like we could probably save that for
the 100th.
The 100th, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're moving on to the things that we're grinding our gears this week.
Here we go.
breaking it. What? We gripe it. We're not griping anywhere else. We gripe it. This safe space for us to share. We gripe it. We ain't griping anywhere else. We gripe it.
Okay.
All right. I feel like you should start because I keep trying to pull up this thing and it's not going to where I need it to go. So, is there a way that I can?
The thing that I sent you?
Yeah, the thing. I assume it's a clip that you want to be heard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I just sent it to you again.
No, the thing is, I got it. It's just okay.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
So this
bitch right now. I'm an angry ass bitch right now.
Hold on. Do you want to hear?
I'm an angry bitch.
Not the whole thing. You just do like.
Y'all need to get in here because I'm about to go off right now.
I want to
right
tell
now.
you, I have the same bonnet as Cardi B.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm about to go off right now. Come on in. Hold up.
Oh no, I'm gonna need you to actually go.
It's the truth, right? In New York, there is a 120 million budget cut. There's a 120 million budget cut in New York that is going to affect schools, public libraries, and the police department. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about the cops, but like it is what it is. There's gonna be an $120 million budget cut with schools, with the libraries, and the cops, and the police department, and a $5 million budget cut in sanitation. Of a budget cut in sanitation, bitch, we're gonna be drowning with rats. We're going to be drowning in fucking rats. So we are going to be having a budget cut on these shits, mind you. And this is why I said this is what I'm telling y'all, I'm not this year. Don't fucking ask me. I don't give a fuck the resume that they send. I don't give a fuck. I'm not endorsing no fucking presidents no more. Cause how is there a $100 million budget cut in New York City for fucking schools?
Okay.
Continue.
Library, police safety, and sanitation. Yeah, Joe Biden's talking about like, yeah, we could fund two wars. Motherfuckers talking about we don't got it, but we got it. Like we're the greatest nation. No, the fuck we're not. We're going through some shit right now. Like say it. We really going through. We really are fucked right now.
Okay.
That's making me angry. The fact that the libraries have to close on the weekends because we do not have the money, or they're not giving them the money because Adams is in a fucking party every week, but he's cutting costs to the places that are keeping people, both children and adults alike, informed and having access to the resources they need, because the library is not just about books. And y'all know, I love books. But it's not just about books. The library gives you computer services. It gives you classes. It gives you a space for people, for kids out after they leave school to go to and have a safe place to hang out and congregate outside of schools and outside of just the street corners. But we are cutting the funding because we allegedly don't have it. Meanwhile, we're giving money to all these different places and all these different fields and services that are not necessary need of the money. We're just giving it to them. And that is very frustrating to me because the libraries are a bastion of knowledge and truth and history, etc., that we need to ensure that the people coming up are able to, you could go and register to vote. You can get a real enhanced ID. You can learn how to use a computer, how to use Pro Tools, how to set up your iPhone. Whatever the thing may be, you can learn how to do that at the library. And it is a necessary function of our world. But we are constantly taking money from them to put it in other places. Meanwhile, we're sending money around the world to fund genocides and to fund wars, not to give people food or shelter or anything like that. And that's very frustrating to me. And I I would just love for there to be a candidate that would come out, both for the mayor and the governor, that will, for New York City, that will actually be planning on doing something to change this, for there to be a candidate for president that is not looking to continue expanding the American empire and looking to build the people up, because we need help here. And we don't need to be the world police going around everywhere else and telling people what to do and what not to do when we can't even take care of the people we have here. That's my first gripe. My second, I wish that men would leave people the fuck alone. Last week, when I have to go into the office 3 days out of the week. I fucking hate it. And the main reason why I hate it is having to deal with other people while I'm outside. I leave my office because we're having a fucking fire drill. And I'm going to get lunch. First off, this man tries to grab me and talk to me. And I was so nervous and afraid that me not talking to him and me pulling away from him was going to cause a ruckus, that he would try to attack me. Thank God he didn't. But the fact that he felt comfortable enough to try to grab me was enough, because keep your fucking hands to yourself. And then when I get into the office, I'm going about my day, and at the end, I'm about to head out. They're doing a happy hour in the office. Fun. There's free drinks. Maybe I'm going to get one. And this old white man sees me, and he's like, "Ooh, you're so smiley. I like that. Look at you," while he's leering at me and eating my body with his eyes. So regardless of where I am, whether I am outside of the building or I'm inside of the building, I am being subject to harassment. And what am I supposed to do? The man outside, yeah, I could be like, "Fuck you, leave me alone." Maybe I could expect there might be some pushback. Maybe he will try to attack me or something like that. But like, I could kind of deal with that on the outside. But inside of the building that is supposed to be a safe space for me to be there, now I can't even come back and be like, "Shove that smile up your ass" to this man, because then I look like the crazy one. I look like the one who's aggressive and mean and angry, because he's just telling you how much he likes your smile. No big deal. No. Leave people alone at work. I don't, like, there's never a need. I don't know this person. We didn't have any interaction. I wasn't with him all day, do whatever training or whatever bullshit he was doing. I was just in the office, minding my business, trying to maybe get a little Stella before I headed off to the day. And now I have to contend with you and your bullshit because you decided you wanted to tell me how much you loved my smile. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't like it. Go fuck yourself. That's it.
All right. Cool. Sorry. Okay. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add on?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. So, couple things that are griping me. First, I'm gonna get this one out the way. This is not. I'm not trying to come at you. I'm not trying to come at your throat or anything like that. But I did want to offer some constructive criticism or some pleasant feedback. Are you open and acceptable to this?
Sure.
Okay. To give context, I'm currently downsizing my apartment, and that involves like getting rid of a bunch of clothes, like getting rid of a bunch of shit that I don't need, donating it, whatever, what have you. And it also involves like, doing chores around the apartment. One of the tasks that was given to Ode was to clean the bathroom. Now, the task of cleaning the bathroom, it involves 4 points. That's the sink, the toilet, the tub, the floor. Are we in agreement on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. The sink, the tub, toilet, the floor. Okay. Boom. There we go. Can you tell me what you did in the order that you did it?
I did the tub, the floor, the sink, and the toilet.
Okay. Can you tell me why you did it that way?
I have no reason.
Just the method. I'm just asking
My
for the method.
method was
I'm simply asking for the method.
The toilet and the toilet and the sink take the least amount of time because you can use Clorox wipes for those.
Mm-hmm.
And the tub and the floor take the most amount of time because you have to spray and scrub.
Okay. May I offer a suggestion? Is it okay if I offer a suggestion?
Yeah, sure, fine.
But you understand that all of this is coming in good faith. I'm not trying to
give your. But
you do understand that this is in good faith.
Yes.
Okay. My only suggestion, and this is a soft suggestion, is save the floor for last as the last task.
I am aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was distracted on the phone. And I did not do my usual, that would be last. And so I started spraying the floor first. And then once I started spraying it, I said, well, I have to do it now. Because if I walk around the floor, it's going to get all dirty. And so I decided to do it then.
You see my non-threatening hands up. I am simply offering a suggestion that it seemed like you already are aware of. So then it's all good. Okay? Are we good?
Yes.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Again, this was not an attacking thing. This was not me trying to throw shade at you or anything like that. This was just pleasant feedback in the most pleasant way that I could possibly offer this feedback. And also in a way that I can easily cut this out of the podcast.
It's not going to be cut out of the podcast. It's live.
No, out of the audio podcast.
It's still going to be here on the live.
Who's watching this deep into a live?
Not sure, but somebody might.
I guarantee you no one is. Well. No offense, but I've looked at the analytics. No one's watching this deep into this podcast. Anyhow, so the actual thing that's pissing me off. There's an old dude who goes to the bar that I frequent. There's a number of reasons why I do not like this guy. For context, he is an older... What is he?
I think he's Puerto Rican.
He's an older Puerto Rican...
I think he's Puerto Rican. I think that's what he said the first time we saw him.
He's an older Puerto Rican dude who has the ability to adopt the patois of a Caribbean man. You know, wagwan, like all that, in a believable way, so as to obscure what ethnicity he might be. And that's fine. That's okay. First time that we met him, that was an interesting quirk. That was an interesting little note of a thing that I found interesting about him. Can you? 6799. The other thing that he does, which I am not a fan of when he first did it, but it happened. He asks people what do you think my job is? If I tell you that I work at a hospital, what do you think my job is? And it's in such a way as to make it seem like the answer will be janitor or something. It'll be like a lower thing. I saw through that and I answered with management. I said, you know what? You're probably in management of some kind. you're probably a manager. You seem like you are a manager of something or someone or a group of somethings or a group of someone's. And cool, that's good, right? I actually don't know what his whole thing is because I forgot, because this guy is not on my radar. Turns out this guy runs the same fucking game every single time that he comes in. Like, he comes in, he sits in the same spot, which is annoying to me because I sit in the same spot, so I'm forced to interact with him. And I never know when he's going to be there. And he does the wagwan, like, what is my whole, like, ethnicity thing? You didn't know that I was Dominican or some shit like that. Like, and then he'll continue to, this is, if you are ever at a bar, if you try to spark up a conversation with somebody who's not engaged with you, read the fucking room. I need to give him a library card. I need to get him the ability to read books. I need to get him hooked on phonics, because he has no ability to read the fucking room. I'm there with my friend Odie, and I'm also there with my other friend who I haven't seen in a long time. They live all the way out in fucking Rockaways. I only get to see them a finite amount of time, and instead of spending that time, us enjoying ourselves, having a fun time, just, conversing, instead, what we're doing is placating this old-ass nigga. And I'm not here for that. I'm fed up with it. Fuck that noise. Old dude, old sir, old nigga. Like, I do not appreciate your candor. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't like you. I am not a fan of anything that has to do with you, quite frankly. Everything and anything that has to do with you is not something that I personally want on my radar. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I don't want it in my sphere. So if you can figure out a way to read body language, and if literally all three members of the party that you are trying to talk to get on their fucking phone as to ignore the shit out of you, that means that they do not want to talk to you. So again, I will reiterate, I'm going to find this nigga, and I am going to get him a library card. Because he clearly does not understand how to read the room. And that's all I have. All
right. Are you ready to move on to our RIPs for this week?
Yes. I am ready to move on to our RIPs this week. Yes.
Well, every week we try to honor those who we've lost, and give them the send-off that we feel like they deserve. All right. Are we ready to go?
There we go. Yes.
I don't hear anything.
There we go.
Well, this week, today, we've learned of the passing of Rosalind Carter, the former First Lady and wife of President Jimmy Carter. Yes. She passed away after dealing with dementia for several years. Mm-hmm. On Sunday, the statement put out by her family said she died peacefully with her family by her side at 2:10 p.m. in Georgia. Mm-hmm. The former president said, Rosalind was my equal partner in everything I ever accomplished. She gave me wise guidance and encouragement when I needed it. As long as Rosalind was in the world, I always knew somebody loved and supported me. Rosalind Carter was a big proponent of mental health. During her time as First Lady, she was a humanitarian and an activist. And we just, being a First Lady is never easy. There's a lot of things that come with it, whether you want them to or not, and having to deal with not only the impact of what your husband has done during his presidency, but all the presidents that have come before you. But she created a example that I think that people could follow after her. And, she lived a long life at 96 years old. And we can say that, she came here, she did what she had to do, and then she has left, and we are sending our love to her family and friends, because regardless of how long anyone has been here, that is it's always difficult to lose someone that you love and care about.
All right. So, rest in peace to Rosalind. You will be missed by your family and yours, and to all the work that you've done for being the First Lady. I salute. No air horns, obviously, but I salute. All right. Was there anybody else?
No, that's it.
And with that, we can move on to the things that made us happy.
I'm the baby merchant. Tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or two. I'll have your baby for you.
I'll keep it quick. We went to go see Black Thought in a discussion with Jon Stewart at BAM this week. It was amazing. It was great. It was thoughtful. We got a free book out of it. It was great to see Jon Stewart and Black Thought. I have not gotten a chance to listen to Black Thought's new album. I've heard rave reviews. I'm going to listen to it tonight. And also just being able to go through my apartment and downsize has filled me with a lot of joy, because I personally feel like I own too much shit, and there's nothing better than going through and getting rid of the bullshit that you do not need and do not want, and just creating more space for more dope shit that you can use and that you can fill that dope shit with.
Black Thought also posted us on his story.
Yes, he did post us on his story, and I thought that was great. And then I think that's pretty much.
No, you have one big thing.
Oh yeah, obviously doing this podcast with you.
No, yes, but no. You started a new job this week.
Oh yes, you know what? I started my new job this week. That is fine, and I'm getting a paycheck very soon. Normally you would have to wait 3-4 weeks after you start a job, but I can't. Oof, I'm not sure if I've said. I'll go back and edit those. Anyhow, but the place that I work, hello there. The place that I work, they are very efficient, and they're giving me a paycheck for the days that I worked. That's crazy. That's super duper crazy. Real soon. This Wednesday. It's ooh, paycheck is coming. It's a physical paycheck, so it's not direct deposit, and that's a bummer. But still good. I'll take it. Wrap it up. I'll take it. It's the it's the most that I've ever made for 5 days of work and 2 days actual work and 3 days are theoretical work. So anyhow, point is, I'm happy. What about you?
Things that made me happy this week. 1, doing this podcast with you, spending time with you. And I would say, Black Thought was one of the big things this week that brought me joy. And what else? That was pretty much... I would say that was pretty much it. I think that, like, I got some joy with, like, some work projects that I was on, of being able to work on them and get them out. So that was great. But I feel like I should do a better job of cataloging the things that bring me joy on a day-to-day. Because by the end of the week... Oh, one thing that brought me joy, I lost my ring at work. And I found it. When I say lost it, I was washing my hands.
I was wondering, what ring is that?
My unicorn ring.
Oh, okay.
So I have a unicorn ring. It's bronze. I got it at the Roots picnic a few years ago.
Do you know where it is now?
Yeah, it's somewhere over here. I took it off. It's somewhere over. It's here.
Yeah, sir.
I know it's here.
Yeah, no, okay.
But either way,
Yeah.
like, I was in the bathroom at work. I was washing my hands. I took it off. And because I don't want it to get, like, rusted or whatever. And I was so busy that, like, I forgot to put it back on after I dried my fingers. I didn't realize until I was on the way home. And I wasn't in the office for the next few days. But I got to the office. Thankfully, they bagged it and tagged it. And someone saw it, and I was able to get it back, which was great because it's one of my favorite rings. It's like a ring and a weapon because it has a little bronze unicorn.
Right.
And I feel like whenever I'm out, I can go, if need be, to protect myself. So I found that. That was great. And I am looking forward to, in general, moving. And I'm not looking forward to downsizing. I'm not going to lie. I like my shit. But I am looking forward to a new chapter of my life that may require a reduction in some things, because it'll be what's the word? What's the opposite of reduction?
Addition?
Yeah. An addition in other things. So I'm looking forward to that. And
surplus?
A surplus, yes. I'll have a surplus in other things. Even though I'm reducing, because regardless, whenever you reduce something, it always comes back to you afterwards. So yeah, I would say those are the things that made me happy this week.
All right, and that is the podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for checking in with us. As always, take it easy, keep it sleazy. We will see you next week for the 100th episode.
The 100th episode!
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's ThatsOD, THATSOD.E. And on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.